Welcome to the second episode of the Milltown Way. Today we'll be discussing the consecutive defeats to NK Celje and Derry City, as well as looking ahead to the final league fixtures coming up against Galway United and Sligo Rovers. I'm Brennan, I'm joined by Adam Casey, and this week we're looking back on what's been a strange few days for the Hoops. There's plenty to get into, so let's get started. Adam, we'll start off on the Thursday's defeat in the UEFA Conference League Phase, a 2-0 home defeat to NK Celje. A lot to unpack in that.
Yeah, well, it just wasn't really a good day at the office, really. Just 2-0. Rovers didn't really look ever that threatening. There wasn't any stage in the game where you thought they were going to win. Celje were the better side, and their quality show up top as well really was displayed well.
Well, you called out the danger man in Kovačević. Is that if that's what we're going to go with pronunciation?
We'll stick with that.
Yeah, he got the double. He got the 2 goals to inevitably hand Shamrock Rovers a defeat. There was a lot to kind of unpack in the sense of not just what happens on the pitch, but off the pitch. The battle between Stephen Bradley and Albert Riera as well.
Yeah, well, Riera coming out with some strange comments after the game, which seemed to take up a lot of the headlines then rather than the game itself. But it was just weird. It was just a strange. I don't know what. It was just so weird of him to come out with comments like that after the game.
I think, yeah, it was definitely strange, all right, because he spoke at length in the press conferences prior to the game to say that Bradley kind of doesn't know who he is and not to comment on the type of person he is. When Bradley called him arrogant last season, but then Albert Riera goes on to comment to say that Stephen Bradley hasn't gotten any offers outside of Ireland, and that to him that tells him something. I think it tells all Rovers fans that he's probably not done his research on Stephen Bradley. Not only has he had offers from abroad, Lincoln City, and came in from.
That was the big one, yeah.
He turned that down. He had interest from Millwall, but as well as that, any club that would have sniffed around Stephen Bradley would know not to probably even entertain the offer because at the time, up until August of this year, his son was still battling with his diagnosis. So a lot of clubs would have known his stance and would have known exactly where Bradley's head is at, and that there's no point in even probably going down that line of trying to offer him a job and trying to sway him into moving to a different country and packing everything up.
Yeah, that point you made there makes the comments even weirder from Riera. The fact that he was coming out, and he probably had no idea about any of that or done any research. So just the fact that he was commenting about him not getting any offers is just strange. And then given the context that you just brought up that I hadn't even thought of, when it was weird enough in the fact that he has been given offers and Lincoln was one, but then as you just mentioned, a lot of clubs probably would have put in an offer or would have tried to sway him, but due to the situation in his personal life, he wasn't going to, and he made that abundantly clear at the time.
Yeah, it was definitely a kind of what a way to put it. He shot himself in the foot, I suppose, didn't he? Really, when making them comments, and he probably in a way justified Stephen Bradley's comments from last season. And Bradley said in the post match press conference that he lacks class, that Albert Riera lacks class, and I would probably say to you, even just in Ireland, you could probably ask a Bows fan maybe, and they'd probably agree to say Albert Riera does lack class, and he justified that in the comments he's made. But I suppose looking at the game itself, the 2-0 defeat in Tallaght, we commented on the last podcast to say how important it was, this game, even though it's only the second game, the first home game of the campaign, of the league phase campaign anyways. To lose 2-0, Shamrock Rovers never really looked like getting going. Started the second half brightly, a couple, Rory Gaffney flick. At one point there was a scramble in the box where Lee Grace had a flick on, I think, and then Roberto Lopez did as well.
Yeah, there was a few.
But other than that, it didn't really look like Shamrock Rovers could get going against them.
And the only chances they had when they did get going, they were already 2-0 down. It was that coming out in the second half. They were better in the second half than the first, but one's better than zero. You still don't want that in your bank account.
Yeah, and I suppose you can argue as well that second half coming out in the second half, well, Celje had to just defend their lead. They didn't need to come out and and try threaten Rovers' goal difference. Maybe you'd look at it and say that could be a reason. The only reason that they would have had to come out in the second half to have a pop at Shamrock Rovers. But other than that,
not even. They were able to just sit back, absorb the pressure, and just not have to do much. Like, they didn't have to. They were coming in 2-0 up. They didn't have to do much. If it had went 2-1, perhaps they might have went on to try and get a third or a fourth. Who knows? But at this stage, goal difference doesn't mean too much. And at the end of the day, it was plus 2 goals, and they'd had a win in the first game as well. So 6 points. The goal difference isn't going to make much difference when you get maximum points at this stage.
I think as well, like when you delve back into it, and it's kind of like, I suppose after the recent defeat to Derry City, it's maybe in the back of some supporters' minds, but it will definitely be at the forefront when Shamrock Rovers go to Athens next week. But I suppose the other side of the coin is, even after 15 minutes, Kovačević had a goal ruled out by VAR. So like, even that, just, I think that probably showed exactly how the game was going to go. Ourselves were going to be the better side.
Mm-hmm.
We marked how, I think 2 of their starting 11 that they've lined out in Tallaght Stadium last year in the Europa League qualifiers are still at the club. So it's shown that they've made wholesale changes. They made wholesale changes. So exactly for this reason, they want to be able to compete in Europe. They want to be able to go far. They're probably likely to feature, you could argue, next season, because they're going to, at the moment, are runaway leaders of the Slovenian league, that there's probably an opportunity that they're going to be in the Champions League next season.
But yeah,
if there is that shout,
if they win, yeah. The thing is, as well, like, they were unbeaten up until yesterday. They lost yesterday.
Brilliant.
Last night 2-1, yeah, of course. But yeah, they were unbeaten all season up until yesterday. And Rovers just didn't have the class, or didn't perform at a level high enough to be able to go out there and be a good informed team.
I think, I think for Celje, for their point of view, I think they're probably hitting Rovers. They hit Rovers at a good time as well. There's the ongoing league, the backlog, of when our Shamrock Rovers going to seal the title. Heading into that game, it was back-to-back defeats against Shelbourne and Pats. So like, it's not made for great viewing.
No, and the loss in the first Conference League game as well.
That was one.
Like, the only win in the last few games was the cup game against Kerry.
Yeah, like, it's up at good form for Rovers. I think it's 5 defeats in the last 6 games.
Yeah, it's 5 defeats. 5 defeats in 6 games is not.
Now, of course, 2 of them are Europe, so there is a bit of leeway there. It's not a case of it's just been 5 or it's been 6 league games, and that's
three league losses in a row.
That's
the more worrying of the.
Yeah, exactly. But it's definitely leaving an uphill battle for Shamrock Rovers going into when they do evidently play AEK Athens. 2 games, 2 defeats going into that. If you look at the benchmark of the Conference League last year, 7 points was enough to get in just about into the playoffs. For Shamrock Rovers to get 7 points from the remaining 4 games, Athens and Donetsk are 2 of them games.
Yeah, that's Donetsk. They haven't been in great form. Like, they won 1 and they lost 1 so far, so they have dropped points. Just there on Thursday night, they lost to Warsaw, but they're also a strong side, and they lost to a 94th minute winner. So obviously, I wasn't watching the game, but it seems close on paper. So
it
feels like they'll need the points as well. So they're not just going to come out. It's not like they'll have it wrapped up, or they'll be all but qualified. They'll be coming over with wanting to win.
Yeah, exactly. That's 2 games away as well, so they'll have 1 in between. I think for Rovers, it's going to take a lot of improving if Shamrock Rovers are going to if they're going to have European football after Christmas, really. If it doesn't stop at, I think it's Hamrun Spartans in Tallaght is the last league phase game on the 18th of December. If Shamrock Rovers kind of, to use the phrase famously from last season about if Shamrock Rovers don't pick up their act, then they went on to win the league. But it's kind of, in this case, it's if Shamrock Rovers don't pick up their act in Europe, it's likely that it's not going to last past Christmas.
No,
there is there's definitely multiple ways to look at this. It's a positive thing that we're kind of sitting here expecting Rovers to not expecting them to get results against the likes of Celje, but definitely thinking there's a chance, and on paper it should be even enough. And look, it was a 2-0 defeat, but it wasn't. I definitely wouldn't be sitting here, as much as Shamrock Rovers didn't really ever look like getting going. I wouldn't be sitting here saying, well, no, but they were played off the park. And
no, not at all.
4-5. It's just the way it was, and it was the way the game went for Rovers. Show they could get opportunities against them in the second half. It just didn't work out that way.
No, it just didn't go their way on the day, like realistically. But yeah, it does. It is feel like it is a very uphill battle now. It's, as you said, it's looking less likely that there'll be European football after Christmas, and even if there is, it's leaving the next stage be probably up against a more formidable opponent.
Yeah,
higher up in the group.
It all dates back to Shamrock Rovers just about missed out on qualifying automatically for the round of 16. It's such, when you think of that, was what that finished up last December, of course.
Yeah,
it was 10 months ago. Lost to Mold just on penalties in February, just gone. October.
Yeah,
8 months.
Yeah,
8 months apart, and now we're looking at European football saying I don't think Stephen Bradley's side will be competing in the Conference League after Christmas. I know we're probably being rather negative as well in some respect, that because it's back-to-back defeats in the Conference League alone. Sparta Prague are definitely a good European outfit, and NK Celje are. I think they were just more of an upcoming outfit now.
Yeah.
Like we're familiar with them after Rovers played them last year in the qualifiers. But I suppose for the average viewer of watching European competitions, Champions League, Europa League, whatever, the Conference League, whatever it may be, that this is probably a side that you're going to see, being a regular feature, and down the line, if even they're showing their form, they're showing their class, and in the Slovenian league, that they're not just this side that Shamrock Rovers have dropped the ball against. It's a side that, like, even in their league as NK Maribor. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that one right either, but
probably not.
But it's things like that when you see them who used to kind of be irregular in European football, that they're beating them to it. And as you said, remaining unbeaten in the league until yesterday.
Yeah,
it's definitely a side that they've invested a lot into their squad, haven't they?
Yeah, it's difficult to go out there and compete with a team who is in such good form, but it does seem like they're going to be a kind of a mainstay now in European competitions going forward. Like, if they win the league this year, so they could be in the chance of being in the Champions League or Europa League, but it does feel like they're going to be they're going to be competing in Europe for the next few years. It seems like, because they have a good team. Their team's young as well, from what I've seen, and so it does feel like they're kind of on the up now. It's like if you were a Celje ultra, you'd be things would be looking promising. Things would be looking good for you.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be getting well used to having European trips. And to the supporters that went to Tala, like
it's a long trek.
Yeah, like, and they did make a little bit of noise. Now it's the way it's designed. I suppose it's a little bit harder to hear away supporters sometimes.
Yeah,
I think. But yeah, there is. I would say there is probably a sense of arrogance amongst the squad. It's not just me sitting here being on Stephen Bradley's side of things, but yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think there is a bit of complacency coming along with them, or not even complacency. They're probably just seeing the improvements they're making, as a squad, and they're confident in themselves. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when, as I said, when you look back on Albert Riera's distasteful comments, I would say it's not a good look for them.
No, it only, like, it's just bad for their image, really. Only adds fuel to a fire.
Sure, even when I was driving out of the car park after the game, about 7 of their players just all walk in front of my car, and if it wasn't like
their players,
yeah, they all just walk in front of the car, and I was about to beep them. I was like, "What's the point of beeping at them?" But like, it was just a case of, like, their light wasn't green, the pedestrian light wasn't green, crossing Tala going to their bus, and they all just strolled across my car. I felt like beeping them. I just said,
That's the manager's fault.
that's Albert Riera installing the
That's coaching 1-1 how to cross the road.
exactly that they should be training that in the Slovenian training ground.
Get the RSA out.
Yeah, and I like look after watching that performance, and you're annoyed as it is, and then you see Albert Riera making them comments.
Yeah, it's only going to annoy you a bit more.
And then I see about 7 or 8 Celje players walking across the car.
Yeah,
and my light's green to go, and theirs is red, and they're just still strolling in front of me. It definitely sets you off a little bit.
I'd say so.
But I suppose we'll leave the European talk there for the moment. We'll discuss. We'll be previewing AEK Athens in the next podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll move on to the latest, not greatest, defeat at the Roy McBride Brandywell Stadium. Derry City 2, Shamrock Rovers 1. Just another loss, and again, third time isn't the charm.
Yeah, third loss in the league in a row now. Feels like there's a bit of a curse or something. It's just, I don't know.
I suppose you're delaying the inevitable, I suppose, but there's that background thought, isn't there? That's just in the very back of your brain that says, this isn't going to happen, is it?
God. Well, Derry fans are going to be thinking, this is going to happen. If you were to put yourself in a Derry fan's perspective, it'd be that like naive optimism of thinking, yeah, we might actually do this. That's what I think they're going to be thinking, and especially now if it goes to the final day, especially now the job isn't sealed on Wednesday night.
It's more as well, I think, for Shamrock Rovers that there's the opportunity against Shelbourne.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I suppose there's the opportunity against Bows, which wasn't in our hands. Derry needed to lose to draw it. But look, it would have been nice for all Rover supporters to win the league against Bows in Tala. But that wasn't in the control. And that's the one that Rovers won.
Yeah,
was the one where it wasn't in their hands.
Yeah,
maybe that speaks to something. Don't want to look too deep into that, but maybe that speaks to something.
But yeah, the point that could be made probably.
Yeah. Then they play Shelbourne and Tala.
Yeah.
And that would have directly taken their crown
back
and put it on Stephen Bradley's head.
Yeah.
Taking off Joey O'Brien's, I suppose. Yeah. He wasn't in charge when Shelbourne won the league.
But yeah, getting their trophy back from the team that took it from them, realistically.
Yeah, and then you go to Richmond Park and think Shamrock Rovers won it there 2 years ago, repeat history again, and win the league there. And again, Shamrock Rovers lose. Then you go to Brandywell. You think Shamrock Derry City, who are second, who Shelbourne won the league there last year, obviously on the final day.
Yeah.
And you think they're second, win the league there. There's a rivalry that's
story again, yeah.
And they lose again.
Yeah.
So now there's 2 games remaining. Galway United on Wednesday and Sligo Rovers on Saturday.
Yeah.
Neither of them, of course, if you win the league, you win the league. Everyone's going to be celebrating either way, but it's more of like...
These 3 games will be forgotten about as soon as it's wrapped up.
Yeah, it's taken... I would say it's definitely like these performances are just slightly taking the shining off the apple for if it happens. I don't want to jinx anything.
No.
And be doing another podcast saying we've lost to Galway. But yeah, it's definitely like the performance yesterday against Derry. First half mainly positive.
Yeah.
There was nice passages of play. There was threatening moments. Graham Burke forcing Brian Maher into a save. And before Stephen Bradley got there.
Yeah.
Stephen Bradley and Glenn Cronin got to the touchline around the 10th minute. After they complete the Dublin City Marathon.
Congratulations to them as well.
Yeah, in aid of Oscar's kids as well. They both ran the marathon, I think it was around 4 hours. It was in the 4 hour mark. They completed the marathon, and then there was a nice touch. Bradley had Josh's name written on his arm, and Cronin had Aoife's name, his daughter, her name written on his arm as well. So
it was nice, yeah. Nice
images as well at the finish line. They embrace
good pictures taken.
And then they're doing like interviews and stuff. It was definitely there's definitely much things that are a lot bigger in football.
Yeah, and that's one of them, really.
Yeah, exactly. These type of things, these causes, these when you see Bradley and Cronin running for things like that, speak to how much these are things much larger than life. So yeah, it's definitely a credit to the two lads. They've done their families proud despite the result. They've gone home, and they're going home to both families who are, healthy, and that result's much bigger than.
That's way more important than football.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially to them.
Yeah.
But saying that, winning the league would have been
a
nice
yeah
way to end the day, especially.
Exactly. Yeah, it would have been nice and round. A nice rounded finish and stuff. But look, I suppose I saw a couple of comments that said they're discrediting the league, that Bradley and Cronin were discrediting the league. I saw it on social media because of that they'd done the run on a match day and they were late to kick off.
The match wasn't meant to be on that day.
Yeah,
originally.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Look, they would have agreed to do this and stuff way before Derry City got moved to the Sunday.
Because I don't think they would have. They wouldn't have agreed to do it if.
Yeah, I suppose even the other side of it is as well.
That's what I think. Obviously, I don't.
Yeah.
know,
I think as well as that the other side of it is, I think if Shamrock Rovers aren't in the predicament they're in, where it's barring a miracle, they're going to win the league. I don't think maybe I don't think they discredit the league in any way. Look, the cause is bigger than the league in any ways, but as well as that, I don't think they probably wouldn't have done it if Shamrock Rovers were level points with Derry City going into that game today. I don't see that happening, but I don't. Yeah, I definitely don't. I think that's probably a low blow.
Yeah, you're reaching at that point. I don't think that's a good observation to say that they're putting the league to. They're kind of putting not shame on the league, or they're discrediting the league, or they're not showing, and that's maybe I heard people say that it's not giving the league the respect it deserves, which is a common thing as well. Not with people in the league, but just the league in general not getting the respect it deserves from certain spectators and stuff and fans of other leagues. But I don't think that has anything to do with them running the marathon. They ran the marathon, they got to the game, although 10 minutes late, but I don't think it discredited the league or showed any lack of respect or anything like that.
No, I definitely agree with you there. I suppose looking back on the game itself, the game at hand and stuff that they made it back for, as I said, it was a bright first half from Rovers. They created chances. There was definitely signs of threatening, of threat there. And you had Josh Honahan on the left up against Cameron Dummigan, for the large part, and he's doing well in his battles. He had a knock for a bit as well throughout the first half, but I think overall, look, going into the break, it's Brandon Fleming's goal. Whether he meant it or not,
I don't. It looked like a cross.
Oh yeah, look, it was a nice flick on from the middle of the park. I think it might have been Robbie Benson that flicked it on to him, but it was sensational.
Yeah,
there's just no stopping that. So again, it's one of them. You're not. I'm certainly not looking at Ed McGinty saying, "Why aren't you stopping that?"
No, not a chance.
I think Darren Nugent probably slightly struggled with Brandon Fleming down that right hand side when he was throughout the first half, definitely. And that's what leads to the goal inevitably. He tries to kind of get a grasp of him at first. He gets past him, he creates a little bit of space, and I don't think two keepers are stopping it.
No.
Put McGinty and Lee Stacey in that net, I don't think.
No. Not for that strike, no.
No. And look, it's his first ever goal for Derry City. He's definitely never going to forget it.
It's a good way to get your first goal.
Yeah, it is. And I could be wrong here, but I think that could be his first ever goal in his career. I've looked at his stints through previous clubs, and there's no record of him scoring a goal for them. I think that could be his first ever goal in his career.
Yeah.
As a senior,
senior
career.
He's probably scored a few under 8s or something.
I wish it didn't start on Sunday, but yeah, it's one of them. It's frustrating more than anything, isn't it? It's just that it delays.
Yeah.
Look, everyone will presume that's delaying the inevitable, but then you have to come out. It was 1-0 at the break, second half. Looked again like Shamrock Rovers could get into it. Probably struggled a little bit more in the second half to get to grips with the game, but there's definitely signs there that Shamrock Rovers could level this tie when you're watching it. I think you look at maybe the sending off inevitably changed the game.
Yeah,
Lee Grace,
it's always going to. But
yeah, Lee Grace struggled with Brandon Fleming, couldn't cope with him. I think there's about 3 fouls inside around 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
He gets booked for the first one. He doesn't get booked for the second one, obviously, and then even with the second one, I was like, he's walking a tightrope. Instantly, once I saw it, he's walking a tightrope here. This is leading to something. If he doesn't get whipped off straight away, he's gonna
gonna get another one.
Yeah, and then inevitably Fleming bursting down the left wing again, and Lee Grace just outside the box on that left flank it leaves the ref no option. You have to send him off, and it's not a case of even. There's no time apart from it, so it's not a case of you look at and gives the referee a decision where it's kind of like, well, he hasn't fit. They kind of forget in that game. If you're booked and it's another yellow card, but if it's not right in the referee's memory, sometimes you get away with that.
Yeah, sometimes you can.
But that's it. Like, there's no argument. That's it.
No.
That foul, he clears him. He clears him out.
There's no argument at all. It's a red card.
Look, we can sit here and say, look, he should have been whipped off straight away. Once he got the yellow, that should have been Lee Grace's day over and get replaced with Dan Cleary. But look, he would be a manager, Bradley said in his post-match interview that he was about to take Lee Grace off. Then Lee Grace says, basically, you're not going to replace me with anyone. I'm just going to go off myself. Picks up the second yellow. The free kick was good as well. Michael Duffy forces McGinty into a good save. But yeah, after that, then it was kind of a moment where Rovers lost the game, I think.
Yeah.
Rovers are pressing for the equaliser. Just fine.
As you do, committing as many men forward as you can.
Yeah. There were signs there that something could have happened. The second goal, you pointed out in the match preview on the website that the key influence might be Sadu. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Sadu Diallo.
Oh yes,
in the middle of the park.
Yes.
He was brought on at half time. He replaced Robbie Benson. He played a good part, and for Derry, he picked up a yellow. Shortly after he got the yellow, he handballed it, and I thought maybe he's going to walk a tightrope here as well.
Yeah,
but he does something different to League Race where he doesn't commit another foul.
Strictly.
Yeah. In turn, he for the second goal, Roberto Lopez caught out on the right wing. Michael Duffy that intercepts it, turns him over, and then he's charging in on the box, and Diallo's free. Gives McGinty again little opportunity to say, but he's not stopping it. You look at it and you don't expect him to stop. Look at Diallo's face with nearly as good as an open goal.
No, definitely not. Well, especially when you're that range, it's anyway in the corner, anyway not directly at you, it's going to be hard to save. So
at first glance, I thought it was actually like nearly hitting the bar, or he does put it
he does put a bit of power behind it.
And it goes in the top right corner or the keeper's top left, but it was a great finish and stuff. But at first, I thought he might have skied it. Yeah, and would have given obviously Rovers a new lease of life. I think because that comes in around the 85th minute.
Yeah, 87th minute.
87th. So you're looking at that thinking, because Rovers were pressing them the whole time. It's just one of them. You get caught out. And it's just the way it is. But the Rovers goal was well worked as well. 98th minute, Rory Gaffney puts it home. There's great work and determination from the substitute John McGovern that leads to the goal.
Yeah,
he has about 3 defenders on him. Somehow he gets to the ball. And somehow he manages to kind of somewhat lay it off for Daniel Cleary. He just kind of loops it across the box, and Rory Gaffney slots it home. But there was 8 minutes added, and he scored in the 98th minute. It's one of them. There wasn't much time. You knew.
No, it was too little, too late.
Yeah, even when the goal was scored, you thought there's not a chance that Rovers are gonna pull it back. There was, I think, a half chance. There was a free given straight away then after the tip off, which then once you see that, you're kind of
that's it.
You know exactly the outcome.
Yeah, unfortunately. But no, yeah, it was a good goal, well worked goal, but when it's that late in the game and there's
Does it leave? Is there worries or concerns there for Rovers support? Is there? Would you say that it's reasonable to be concerned looking at that result, and or do you think are you looking at this saying that like Bradley's mantra is always to stay calm?
yeah.
Like he doesn't, and he'll never. Even if he wasn't calm himself about the situation, he wouldn't let it.
No, you would never know.
Yeah, he wouldn't let it down. Let us kind of guard down. I don't think in his media duties and stuff. But for Shamrock Rovers supporters, you think is there cause to be concerned? Is there?
I think it's a miracle. It would be a miracle for them not to win.
But even it's a miracle that Rovers. It requires a miracle for Rovers not to win the league. But aside from the league,
no,
would you be looking at Rovers' form now, saying is there cause for concern? Bear in mind, 5 defeats in the last 6, 2 were European.
Yeah.
Sparta Prague away to Sparta Prague is always tough. But the only thing is, the other side of the coin is the only win came against Kerry in the FAI Cup semi-final.
It's a little bit of concern, but it is as I mentioned last week, it's at the end of a long season, so that has to be taken into consideration as well. That the players are going to be exhausted. Really, it's a long season with Europe and everything. They didn't have much of a break, so I don't think there is too much cause of concern. Like obviously, once the league's wrapped up, hopefully it ends with Europe. You can continue on past Christmas, but if it doesn't, I feel like that could also have some benefits for the players, for example, to be able to get that bit extra break.
Yeah.
Rather than carrying over like it did last year again.
Yeah, I suppose it's two sides, so isn't it? Because when you think about if Rovers were to make it past Christmas in the Conference League, that the first knockout stage isn't until the league starts again in February.
Yeah.
And anyways, but the other, there's two sides, I suppose, because look, the way I would be seeing this at the minute, the form Rovers are in, so it's, as I said, there's a lot of games.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's it's the February to November league format that Shamrock Rovers are now reaching the end of it. You never know, there could be a huge uptake in performances post the season ending.
Yeah, when they have the kind of a bit more 2 weeks in between each game, nearly.
Yeah, the cup final now I think it's like, look, all the Rover sport will want the club to be competing on all fronts, but I suppose you also look at it and think you have Athens on the Thursday, Cork in the final on the Sunday.
The final, you do have to think the final will be given preference over.
Would you think so?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah,
it's a tough one.
It would
definitely. I think it definitely. It definitely would split opinions. I would imagine.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made both ways. Like of one, you're resting players for a final.
Yeah,
it is the final of a competition.
But then again, you're wrestling against AEK Athens in the UEFA Conference League.
I know it swings and roundabouts.
It's definitely exactly. It's definitely one of them that I would imagine, because I'm sitting here even in my own head, I'm thinking what should be given preference or what should be given a bit more thought. Would it be? Yeah, I'm debating on my own head.
I don't know which you would do if you were. Yeah,
it's got to get Bradley and Cronin ahead for sure, and McPhail, because it's a tough one. Because the other side of the coin, you need to not that you need to win the trophy, but if Rovers did the double, that would be huge.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain.
But yeah, and then because if you look at the Athens game, and should Shamrock Rovers lose, and whether Bradley looks at and gives preference or not, if they lose that, 3 games remaining, Donetsk, I would be looking at it and saying Breidablik and Hammer and Spartans should be 6 points.
Yeah, of course.
And it has to be. Now, if Rovers want to even consider your so they have to be. But then it's Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah, they were I know Shakhtar Donetsk are a very good side.
You remember them being in the Champions League every season?
I've actually seen them play before.
You did?
Yeah, they played City.
Oh, did you go?
Yeah. No.
Look at that, going across to England.
Where were you on?
on Saturday evening.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about. No, yeah, no. Of course, look, Shakhtar Donetsk, well-known outfit. Everyone would that follows football would know
Yeah.
of them, wouldn't they?
Ukrainian, aren't they?
Yeah. But I suppose, yeah, like that. That will split hairs. I think. What do you give preference to? Maybe I'm wrong in thinking. You know, a lot of people could be on. I've seen a couple of tweets that have sided with I've been with what you've said, and that
Yeah.
it should be the cup final, and I can definitely see the reasons for both. It's not a case of it has to be Europe or it has to be the cup. You can see why both would be given preference in that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Um, but it's I don't know. I'm still now. I'm not that. Now you've put the argument in my head. I don't know which way I would go either way.
I suppose that's probably for the next episode as well when we're
Yeah, true.
previewing that and
But looking at
Cork.
just with the games they have left, they can't really have. They need the games in the Conference League are going to be tough anyway. Can you afford to be resting your players?
Well, that's if it wasn't for the Donetsk game.
The next game is the bad one. That's
But
like they've won the Europa League.
as well as that, just this summer gone, they sold their left winger Kevin to Fulham for 40 million.
Yeah,
That's what you're up against when
Yeah.
when the tie comes around.
he's the Brazilian fella, isn't
Yeah, when the tie comes around and whatever the result is, bear in mind that this club definitely have budget to be spending on players and
he? No,
the money
definitely.
they make. So, and I'm sure, look, no one needs reminding of that. But so I'd definitely be saying that will split hairs when we look at it. I suppose let us know as well in the comments what you would prefer, what you
Yeah,
think should be given. When we'll have because we'll see it then going into our next episode. And,
yeah. If you were in charge, what would you do?
yeah, I'd like to know that actually, because I'm going back and forth in my own head. So if I'm going back in my own head, I'm sure a lot of other people might be
Yeah,
doing the same.
there's
But
an
I suppose,
argument for both. There's an argument for it's
yeah,
too hard to say. There's genuinely an argument for either way.
yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. I suppose we'll move on to the more look, the result was negative in Derry,
Yeah.
but there was a lot more off the field negative stuff.
Yep.
I will say before we get onto it that it's a huge credit to to Derry City supporters that there was a large some of them that sung Josh Bradley's name.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was nice
towards
touch.
towards the end of the game, singing along to "There's Only One Josh Bradley." Definitely a lovely touch from the supporters, and again, look, it definitely adds to the ammunition of there's a lot of things that are bigger than this sport.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Look, it's nice to see when the clubs come together because, look, there'll be chants going both ways from the Derry supporters and Rover supporters, and of chanting against each other. Of course,
Yeah,
it's rivalry, and
that's part of it. That's
tribalism.
what you want.
Tribalism. Yeah, that's it. That's what makes the sport. But it's also nice to see you can put these issues aside.
Yeah, it's the power of the sport as well. It was a nice touch with the chants. Just in general, like there is a lot more important stuff out there than football, and it's nice when people can come together and forget about not forget, but just put the tribalism, put the rivalries, the anger, whatever, just on hold for a little while. That's all that has to be, and it was just a class act from the Derry sport.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose the main issues that took place off the pitch, Shamrock Rovers supporters bus that was denied entry into the game. The police service of Northern Ireland, the PSNI, denied them entry to the ground. The reports that I've read that came out of that came on social media and came from the coach that was refused it was due to pyrotechnics and that they were
Yeah,
more or less with the want of not misquoting it, that was a threat that needed to be removed, and PSNI insisted that this decision was made by Derry. It seems to be a huge clampdown on things, and it's not even. It's ever since Bohemians went there, and there was the videos that went viral of nothing short of fireworks being shot into the away end, and
Yeah, I
yeah.
suppose they have to clamp down because there was the time then there was like rocks being thrown, stuff getting thrown apart, but
But then on
still,
about 87, it was around 87 minutes. Ed McGinty's goal was full of flares and it was just full of red mist, and it's quite rich when you look at that and you think, like, if you're a Rover supporter that wasn't allowed into the game, and a lot of the supporters that I like read from and stuff and heard the reports from were that they watched the game from a pub in Donegal,
mm.
which can like a 3 hour trip to Derry, a 6 hour round trip.
Yeah,
It's
6 hour
just
round trip to watch it in the pub.
it's no supporter should be turned away from a game in that
In that for the
in that circumstance. You
in
know
that
what I mean?
circumstance, obviously.
Because all the reports coming out that Shamrock Rovers supporters cooperated. They removed the pyrotechnics. That there was no kind of, I won't say there was no hesitation. Maybe there was somewhat, but even then,
No.
by the sounds of that, they they cooperated fully, and
Mm.
the PSNI insisted that this decision was made by Derry, which the club needs to be held accounted for.
Yeah, the club needs to kind of they realistically should have released a statement
Yeah,
or
exactly.
commented on it to say why, or to I know obviously it's not always in their full control because it was the police as well.
Yeah, you see, I think they're probably. I'd imagine there's a blame game going on there
Oh
because
yeah, definitely. The one side will be blaming the police will be blaming
yeah,
them, and
the
they'll be
club and the club.
all trying to just save face.
I, I can't, like, from what I've read, I can't see it like being the club that made that decision.
Yeah,
I don't I don't think that's true. Again, I don't know the truth, but I would imagine that the PSNI are taking full control of that.
probably.
I don't see that being on the club, and I don't. It lacks class. That I don't think. For Rover supporters making a 3 hour journey to Derry and 3 hours back.
Hmm.
It's I would encourage any supporter that's on that bus to get in touch with Derry. I know some of them have,
And get their money back.
and just get their money back, and and more.
Yeah,
Look,
costs of travel and stuff as well.
I'd be like,
I keep invoicing them.
yeah, like if it was me, I'd be wanting whatever I pay, and I don't think they'll give it.
No,
But whether it's the club or whether it's on the PSNI, I'd be demanding ticket costs and coach costs, anything you can, because it's not
I'd be saying I flew. Get much back
first class.
Yeah.
Flew first class to Derry.
It cost you $5,000 to go up here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I got Heineken the whole time, so that was an extra 10 quid a pop. Yeah, but no, it's just look, it's not. It definitely just leaves a sour taste. There's calls for boycotts from from the game when Rovers play their next season. The 2 trips they'll make at minimum, if there's no cup tie there either.
No.
And I don't see why Rovers supporters wouldn't get behind it. It depends on obviously what happens between now and then. But
Yeah, the boycott and stuff is good and all, but like it's hard to get fat if it's a big game. Like for example, if it was
if it was
a
this
similar
game,
situation,
if it was this game next season, so,
yeah,
yeah. But I think look, it's it's definitely hard to control. But I think if it was organised, it could happen. And I think a boycott might be the only way to send a message to say that it's not fair on
no,
these fans that make the trip and are treated unfairly and treated like second class citizens,
yeah,
because it's like no fan. As I said, no fan deserves to be going there traveling for 3 hours. And you're not allowed into the game, and then have to go home and after not watching it.
hmm.
It's not on, and yeah, the whole thing just reeks of lacking class.
Yeah. It's a,
I think probably power trips going sometimes there as
yeah,
well. They probably look at Shamrock Rovers being a Dublin club, just put them in the same bracket as the trouble that happened with Bows. That probably happens with Shells, Pats that go, but at the same time, it happens on both sides. It's not just the travelling club that make it,
no.
So yeah, something definitely needs to be done, and whoever was
The
responsible
situation needs
needs
to
to be
be
held accountable.
yeah. The situation needs to be handled better in the future. One, I agree with your point of fans should be requesting money back and stuff for the very least the tickets, which I presume they probably might get the ticket money back, but the rest of it I don't think they will. Like, that's what there was about 100 people or so turned away, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was a 100-seater. Like,
Yeah.
someone said around a 100-seater coach.
That seems like a big coach.
That's what maybe I read that wrong. That's an enormous coach. How many wheels do you think I have? Maybe 8. But yeah, no, look, definitely knock on their door. Don't let this go away, and
hold the people who done it accountable. Really,
there was not only was there the unified chanting of Josh Bradley and among the home and away supporters, there was also a banner held up on both sides to say there's no British justice. The recent news that a former British paratrooper was acquitted of charges related to the 2 murders and 5 attempted murders from Bloody Sunday, 1972.
Mm-hmm. Was 72 or 71?
72.
You could be wrong there.
Brilliant. What podcast we have going here.
It was 72, sorry. January 72, so basically 71.
Oh, okay, what, New Year's Day, whatever. So Adam's gone from the next podcast now after that.
Yeah.
So we're hiring. But yeah, it was another sign of unity between the supporters.
Yeah. Again, speaking on the point of stuff being bigger than football.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just things like that are definitely a nice touch. Particularly because you see some of the social media posts that, the rivalry between the supporters, and it's what you want. You want to have a rivalry with these clubs and stuff, but it's nice to see that things can be put aside as well.
Of course.
And for bigger causes, and just signs of unity that, these things are bigger than football.
Yeah, like it is. This stuff is bigger than football, and the banner. We're not going to get into politics. It's not that type of show, but yeah, it's nice when. Not nice, but it's good.
A nice touch from both
good
supporters.
It's good when the fans come together on the united front for something that's bigger than the game.
Yeah, particularly stuff like that, because it can definitely be a grey area. With the club that they played against in Derry City. So
yeah,
sometimes they agree on both sets of supporters agree on things, and other times they don't. But
that's part of the game.
Exactly. But I suppose we'll move on with the next upcoming game, Galway United in Tallaght Stadium.
Yep.
4th time lucky.
4 times the charm.
Is that what we're changing?
4 is a magic number. It's a magic number. No, yeah.
What are your thoughts heading into that?
I don't have that many. It's just come
on.
Let's just
do the job.
Just the point. Galway aren't going to lay down and die. Galway.
They're in a relegation battle.
Yes, they're level now. It's Sligo and Waterford.
Yeah, and so their level was Sligo and Waterford. So you have, when we play Sligo then on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So it's Rovers.
So like a win would all but guarantee Galway safety.
So they're exactly.
They wouldn't be, because the goal difference, they're already 13 goals ahead of Waterford. So
yeah,
it's unlikely they'll go down anyway. But
then again, if Shamrock Rovers were to beat Galway on Wednesday, and then what I would want to see is Stephen Bradley fully rotate his team for Saturday's game against Sligo.
Yeah,
give a full rest for Athens and Cork. I suppose the other side of it is managers and Bradley tend to play the strong team for the one that may lift the trophy.
Yeah,
there is that argument,
I suppose.
But I suppose with this, I think you have the Conference League next Thursday, and you have the FAI Cup the following Sunday. I think get the job done on Wednesday, fully rotate for Saturday's game against Sligo, because some of the lads need a well-deserved break. Some players, again, I go back to my point, who would be a manager, but some players are coming back from injury, so they'll might need more minutes going into big games and stuff, but
to kind of get back into it, I suppose.
Like, you'll have Lee Grace who'll miss the Galway game on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So you would expect that he'll play against Sligo anyways on Saturday, and he's
Probably.
he's been on the way back from injury, so you'd expect that he'll play on Saturday. But
Yeah, you expect him to play, so you just would have expected him probably to play on Wednesday night as well if he hadn't have been suspended. But
I would say as well, without being, I suppose, too harsh on the players and stuff and everyone, but some key players need to step up against Galway on Wednesday
yeah,
because 3 straight league defeats. It's the form that form, and I think Bradley would be probably the first one to say it, but the form's not really acceptable at any stage of the season, whether it's
no,
winding down at the end,
no,
because even the way the league works, winding down the end when Rovers are in Europe, it's not the case because you
there
need
is
to be
no
at,
end.
yeah, because you need to be at your best when they play AEK Athens. They need to be at their best when they play Cork in the cup final. So there's definitely
It's a bad, it's a bad
no rest for the wicked.
bad run of form. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just a bad run of form at the moment, and there's not. You could make an argument that it's one of the better times, I suppose, that it could be happening. Then there's the argument that it's a bad time as well with the cup final coming up. But with the league all but wrapped up in terms of the fact that Derry need a miracle, you could make the argument that it's better to have this kind of bad run of form than to have it earlier in the year when things have been a lot more close. But
you just prefer it not to happen at all.
No,
Yeah, like I would be saying, like, look, I said these key players in the team need to step up and get this performance and get just a full structure behind it, because I think there's been times where you're looking at these games recently and it's just I'm not look to go back to the point I made with Rovers' last league win was Bows at home.
yeah,
When that day it wasn't in Rovers' hands,
no,
and ever since it's been in Rovers' hands, they've lost 3 straight. Whereas you would never, I think, if you're to stop and ask any Shamrock Rovers supporter throughout the season, do you ever think Rovers will lose 3 straight games to Shells, Pats, and Derry? I don't think you would.
no, probably no.
And even being, even the most humble fans that are, I would put myself in probably more humble bracket myself in that sense. Like I wouldn't be
humble people don't usually call themselves humble.
But you know what I mean. As in,
no.
I wouldn't be. I've never gone into a game, even the Kerry game. I'd always go into. I think, they could be up for it, and it's 90 minutes of football and stuff. So yeah, that's what I mean, Adam. You know what I mean. But so I think this Galway game is crucial. Obviously, it is. We all know that, but just put the title to bed.
Just wrap it up,
and then Sligo can be somewhat of just a party atmosphere for full 90 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully that's me.
Now, of course, even I don't want to be putting this out in any context, but if Galway were to get the 3 points on Wednesday evening, and it does go to the final day, it still requires a miracle.
Yeah, but
of course, Derry to
don't even put that out there.
It would require Derry to give Cork a good beating, and Sligo need to give us a good beating. Yeah. But either way, look, let's not get that, because
that hopefully doesn't come to. Hopefully, the league's wrapped up. Come about. There's around 10 o'clock on
Wednesday.
In Tallaght as well. We did mention that in the first episode that
it's nicer to win it.
It's nice to win at home. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's why they lost on Sunday.
And hopefully should be a good turnout then on Wednesday night as well.
Yeah, that's the important thing. I know it's. Yeah, you make a good point there. It's the important thing is Tallaght Stadium when it's in full flow and it's a sellout crowd. Like there's
not much better.
There's not much. It can be really loud. It can be really. I presume it can only be off-putting for the opposition. Of course, it would be. You would expect that Galway aren't going to have a lot of supporters down.
No, probably.
I could be writing them off early, but it's a Wednesday. Like it's not.
It's a Wednesday night, and it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, the scheduling isn't great for it. But the other side of the coin is like what we said with the Shells game. When do you play this fixture? It has to be played before the final day.
Yeah.
But But it's just, I suppose, on that front, yeah, it's unfortunate for Galway. They would obviously prefer it to be on a Friday. Even then, they're tough ones to make. As you said, 2.5 hours or so. If you're in work on the same day, it's tough to make it for a 7:45 or an 8 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, it is.
But we would be encouraging as many Shamrock Rovers supporters as possible to
get down there,
get into the ground on Wednesday, create the atmosphere, build the noise, make it a tough place for Galway. You don't it could be it could be the day that Shamrock Rovers clinch the title, and
you want to be there for that.
You want to be there. You don't want to miss it, and look, Rovers need the support now.
Yeah,
that's the big thing, isn't it? Because
coming off losses.
Look, Bradley, he will insist that there's no
pressure.
Doubts don't creep in, but I would think it's only natural that
to have doubts.
They're gonna. I think they will.
It is natural to have doubts.
I can acknowledge that. Look, these players,
whether they're minimal or not, they can be small doubts, but you're still gonna expect,
because you wouldn't see. I don't. It's unheard of for Shamrock Rovers to lose 3 straight league games, and it's unheard of to lose the Shells at home, lose to Pats. Well, Pats away is a tough place, but to lose them all consecutively Derry away as well.
It's not common.
It's unheard of, I think, and it's just talent needs to be loud. It needs to be packed. It's huge. It's a huge game.
Yeah, it's a big game,
and the more packed it is on Wednesday evening, the more of a chance that when you're going to the game on Saturday evening, that it's going to be
just a celebration.
A celebration of Shamrock Rovers and their season that they've had and the hard work that's gone into it. And so, it's just, we would be encouraging everyone, get your ticket, make sure you're in the ground. If you have your season ticket, use it, and get down there, support the lads, because you're going to need it. Because and again, I don't write anyone off.
No, there's no point writing them off.
And Galway are going to be up for this. They're fighting for safety.
Yeah.
If they got 3 points on Wednesday, now it'd be huge. If they win, that's them practically safe.
Yeah.
For them, it's barring a miracle, they're going to be safe.
Yeah.
And they won't have a relegation playoff to face. But just get down, fill your seat, and get behind the lads for 90 minutes.
Hopefully, then come Saturday, that's just a good day out, a party.
Exactly, yeah, and hopefully 10 p.m. Wednesday.
Champions
celebration, but we've been saying this for a long time. 4 times the charm is the new phrase Shamrock Rovers supporters are using, that we're using. We'll just lastly touch on the Sligo game itself.
Yeah.
There won't be a podcast in between the Galway and the Sligo game. We'll be doing one we'll be recording one for next week after the Sligo game. But we'll just touch on that. So Sligo, exact same boat really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Obviously the circumstance might be different for them, depending on our game against Galway. But other than that, they're going to go into the game as well with something to fight for. You want it to be a case of Shamrock Rovers have nothing to fight for, no pressures.
No, that's it.
And fully rotate the squad.
Yeah, but you have to think it's Sligo are going to be thinking the exact same way as Galway are. That a win will guarantee survival, and especially then with Waterford on the last day. Waterford are playing Galway on the last day, so it's a hot race at the bottom on the table to try for that survival. Obviously, it's not guaranteed relegation; it's a playoff. But you don't want to be in that situation in the first place. So it does feel like both teams that are going to be playing now in the next week are going to be up for it because of the unfortunate situation they're currently in.
Yeah, the battle for the relegation playoff or to avoid it, so to speak, is definitely interesting. It doesn't really help that we're playing 2 of them on Wednesday and Saturday, but it'll leave a lot more for them to fight for against Shamrock Rovers. And I think, particularly, you look at the Sligo game on Saturday. It's a 4:30 on a Saturday, so there's a chance you will see a chunk of Sligo supporters there. There is the other side of the coin that not a lot of them will want to go up to see potential title lifting of Shamrock Rovers. But at the same time, if you're a Sligo Rovers supporter, you need to get there and support your club because there's a chance they're going to be in the relegation playoff come the end of it.
So as a Sligo Rover fan, you'll be wanting that win. You would think that they'll get a good number up because it is an important game for them.
And they'll fancy the chance. If Rovers wrap it up on Wednesday, they'll fancy the chances. They would probably be anticipating that it's going to be a full rotation.
They can go out there and get that result.
Yeah. Because I would definitely be calling for a full rest. Athens and Cork to follow in week 2.
Yeah, you need to rest.
And then you'll have, for example, if you would expect a full strength team on Wednesday against Galway.
Yeah.
You would think then the full whoever plays then should it be wrapped up on Wednesday, won't play again until the following Thursday. It's a great rest for them to recoup and kind of shift the focus on Conference League.
And then the cup and just get the cup wrapped up then as well. And then focus solely on the Conference League then for them final few games.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine that Shamrock Rovers players are going to be on the beers on Saturday evening either. Should Rovers win the league?
Probably not.
No.
Maybe one or two.
Just
stick to the bottles.
Bottle of what? Coors. Get a light one.
Yeah, a light one. Less calories.
Yeah. Or maybe well then they could go for a spirit and do a zero, a Coke Zero and a Jack Daniels perhaps.
But then they could do that, but then also they don't want to get wasted. The whole argument for the light beer is that it's nice and light.
Yeah, but if you're doing the calorie, it depends what way you're going to look at it. We could sit here for another hour.
Talking about alcohol.
Talking about what alcohol routes they could take on Saturday evening. Should it be done? But yeah, Shamrock Rovers are going to have their hands full. The big key threat I think from Sligo is, as everyone knows, is probably Owen Elding.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Rovers are going to get a minute from him. It's the battle of the Rovers as well. Sligo like to refer to themselves as Rovers. They also taunted some supporters. I think they caught them. They went fishing with their post when in the last game to say and labelled Shamrock Rovers as just Shamrock. They tend to get into that, but yeah, Owen Eldon will definitely be a threat. He has 11 goals, 4 assists in the League of Ireland. Also 4 goals in the Cup.
Yeah.
So he 19 goal contributions this season for Sligo, who are they 8 at the minute?
Yeah, they're 8.
Yeah, so
they only have 40 goals in the league, so
he's contributed. Yeah, well, 19.
Oh, and all.
Yeah, so what? 15. He's contributed 15 of them.
Yeah.
Which is huge, and I'm sure probably Sligo Rover supporters will, I'm sure, be thinking he's going to be departing the club.
Probably.
He's getting a lot of interest. Him and Jad Hakiki tend to get a lot of interest from abroad, and I wouldn't be surprised definitely with Elding, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be snapped up and he won't be a Sligo Rovers player come February.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he could be on his way out the door as well. He's 19 years of age.
Yeah, he's been in the Ireland setup as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
At underage. But yeah, that's it from us.
Yeah, that's all for today.
Yeah, it's we had a lot to get through.
Yeah,
4 games. It will be less over time, but at the minute
it's a busy schedule.
Yeah,
jam-packed.
Probably be covering 4 games the next episode as well. Galway, Sligo, Athens and Cork.
Yeah, and then after the Cork one though,
falls off a cliff.
Yeah, there'll be nothing.
Exactly.
It's like a bye to us then.
We'll be back on the beer episodes. Watch them drinking.
Fill in the gaps.
But no, we want to as well thank everyone for the support of the page.
Yeah, and for the podcast, everything.
And the podcast particularly. I think we're about 2 weeks now in existence, and the support's been tremendous, particularly with the podcast and stuff. We read all the comments. We appreciate all the support, and we appreciate any feedback as well. We want to hear from you all the time. So definitely don't hesitate to leave a comment. And kind of, if you want to leave a comment, what you want us to discuss, don't hesitate.
Yeah,
And
if any questions or anything you want us to discuss, let us know.
yeah, we appreciate any feedback. And again, follow us on socials as well. The Milltown Way, at the Milltown Way.
Yeah,
On Facebook,
online.
Instagram, Twitter.
And then the website as well.
Yeah, make sure you read the articles, and yeah, we put a lot of work into it. So we want to give back to Rover supporters, and as I said, don't hesitate to engage and let us know what you think.
Yeah, appreciate everyone sharing it and also rating the podcast on Spotify, for example. 6 people have rated it, which when people rate them and give them a high rating, it goes a long way, especially for a new show.
Yeah, and as well, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.